Kasturi tilakam lalat patale vakshasthale kastubham nasagre varmoktikam kartale venukare kankanam sarvange harichandanam sulalitam Kanthe cha muktavali gopastri parivestito vijayate gopal churamani vasudeva sutam devam kansa chanuramardanam devaki paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagat Gurum. Krishnam Vande Jagat Gurum. Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo Maheshwara. Guru Sakshat Para Brahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. We are reading from Shrimad Bhagwat Mahapuran, and we are in the 10th canto, having just completed Ras Panchadhyay, which is called the life air of Shrimad Bhagwat Mahapuran. Bhagwat Mahapuran is the crown jewel in the Vedic literature. There is no other literature which can compare with Bhagwat Mahapuran. And within the Bhagwat Mahapuran, the 10th canto is most special because 90 chapters about Shri Krishna's glorious Leelas are beautifully depicted. And within those 90 chapters, chapter 29 to chapter 33 are the most nectarian because it deals with Maharas. Maharas which took place for one Brahmaratri. One Brahmaratri means 4.32 billion years. In one Brahmaratri, we have 14 Manvantars, and in each Manvantar there are 71 Chaturyugis, and in each Chaturyugi there is Kaliyug, Dwapar, Treta, and Satyug. Now we just cannot imagine that these gopis who participated in the Maharas, they had this blissful association with Sri Krishna for such a long duration. And I'm sure after that also they would have remained in that bliss, because once you achieve the highest bliss, once the Maya is no longer dominant on you, you remain in bliss forever. Right now we are feeling miserable because we are thinking that we have to do this much for my family, we have to do so many campaigns for the society, we have to do so much work for the office, and some pros and cons and some ups and downs in all those activities, they get us into a morose mood. Some problems in the office. I just wrote a LinkedIn article about the workplace equipoise, because in the workplace so much happens. There are bullies, there are people who discriminate, there are power lobbies who, have their own coterie. The average people are the worst sufferers. They are criticized so much. So much happens in the workplace which makes us miserable. And especially when the good work is not recognized, and sometimes they give credit to others. Similarly, at home, nagging with the spouse and the problems with the children bring into the home, and health issues, we are so much in trouble. And then We are also feeling so sad about killings on the border. Innocent tourists are killed, and so much of rampage is going on. So this is not the state of bliss. A state of bliss is when you remain completely happy and the happiness keeps growing. And that is what Bhagavat is promising. Anando brahmeti vyajanat anandhaiva khalvimani bhutani jayante anandena jatani jivanti anand anandam prayanta visham vishanti. This is what Taittiriya Upanishad informs, that actually another name of God is bliss, Sat Chit Anand. And in Chit, Sat is included, and in Anand, Chit is included. So Anand is the ultimate element, which is the most coveted goal for an individual. How are we becoming blissful? So different grades are there, which we talked about earlier. Sometimes we feel happy just enjoying the tamasic bliss. In the office, I shouted back at this person, he was being difficult. I shouted at him. And then we are feeling very happy. Or in some extreme cases, I slapped this person, he was troubling me and I slapped him. So that's the tamasic happiness. And then the rajasic happiness. Oh, today I had a feast. There was gulab jamun also, there was jalebi also, there was rabri also, there was all kinds of sweets. And then we had biryani and pulao and aloo dum. So we have feasted on such a large number of dishes. So that is the rajasic sukh. Doesn't matter, after the meal, we feel very much, in a state of indigestion, etc. Then the sattvic happiness. Oh, I went to the temple and fed 100 Brahmins, or I donated 1,000 blankets for the poor people in Vrindavan. So that's the sattvic ras. And all of this gives us happiness. And then we go beyond tamasic, rajasic, sattvic, and that is called nirgun. You have become above gunas, and that is called the nirgun bliss, wherein we can say that I went and devoted time in Vrindavan, in Prem Mandir. I shed tears listening to the bhajans and looking at the deities of Radha Krishna. So that is the nirgun. But one can also worship in a Advait form. Oh, I just worshipped in a state of meditation on Paramatma seated in my heart. Or the complete Advaita, some who don't distinguish between the Jeev and the divine. So that is the Nirgun. And then comes the Bhakti Marg, wherein we have 5 relationships. Shant Bhav, where God is king, we are the subject. Dasya Bhav, where God is master, we are the servant. Then Sakhya Bhav, where God is friend and we are the friend. Then Vatsalya Bhav, God is parent, we are the children, or God is child, we are the parents. And Madhurya Bhav, where God is the beloved or the husband, and we are the feminine. The Madhurya Bhav is the highest bliss that one can get because there is no barrier. But within Madhurya Bhav also there is Sadharani Rati, Samanjasa Rati, and Samartha Rati. Sadharani Rati, Kubja's love for God. Kubja wants, I want to enjoy the happiness from association with Shri Krishna. And Shri Krishna fulfilled her desires. Like a husband will fulfill the desire to a wife. And Samanjasa Rati, yes, I want my happiness, but I also want to give happiness to Krishna. So that is the state of Lakshmi, Satyabhama, etc. But there is one class which is only concerned with the happiness of the Lord. And we will all agree that is called niskam prem, and that is the highest because there is no selfish motive. It is love, love, love only. And when we are in that state, we get the highest bliss. This is so, contradictory and difficult to understand, but this is how it is. You don't expect anything, but you get everything. मांगन मरण समान है, फिर क्यों मांगे भीख. That Kabir Doha, बिनु मांगे मोती मिले, मांगे मिले न भीख. That when you don't ask, you get everything. That is the amazing rules of divine. So coming back to Bhagavad Mahapuran, it is telling us the stories of the Lord, where Bhagavad Gita finishes with the concept of moksha. Bhagavad begins with elimination of moksha. Dharma projit kaito vatra nirmat saranam satam. It says, no dharma, artha, kama, moksha considerations when you come to Bhagavad Mahapuran. So much to share about the glories of Bhagavad Mahapuran, but considering our time limitations, let's now begin with the bhajan. Request Yatin Bhaiya to read the text, and then we can sing, and then we can read the text of today's chapter.
जी भैया. जेवन की बलिहार युगलवर. A gopi says, I adore the vision of Radha Krishna eating together. My both beloveds are sitting on a low height seat, specially made for dining purpose, which is embedded with jewels and is made of sandalwood. The gopis have neatly placed the gold balls in an ornamented, high-edged, large gold dish, and in them they serve the food of nectar delicacy of all the six kinds of flavors: salty, sweet, hot, and spicy, pungent, savory, and sour. Then the gopis said with folded hands, O life of my soul, Priya Pritam, please eat the food. Radha and Krishna both started eating, joyfully giggling and smiling. Sometimes they gave morsels of their choice in each other's mouth. The gopis played the instruments and sang the dining song, Jevar, in a sweet voice while they ate. The gopi says this dining leela is so loving and charming that anyone who sees it sacrifices his soul. Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe. जेवन की बलिहार युगल वर, जेवन की बलिहार युगल वर, जेवन की बलिहार युगल वर, जेवन की बलिहार युगल, जेवन की बलिहार जुगल वर, जेवन की बलिहार जुगल वर, जेवन की बलिहार जुगल वर, जेवन की बलिहार जुगल वर. मणि न जटित चंदन पीठासन, मणि न जटित चंदन पीठासन, राजत दो सरकार जुगल वर, 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 जेवन की बलिहार 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 जुगल वर. कनक थार मह कनक कटोरिन कनक थार मह कनक कटोरिन साजी सखिन संभार जुगलवर साजिन सखिन संभार जुगलवर साखिन साजिन सखिन आर जुगलवर जेवन की बलिहार जुगलवर जेवन की बलिहार जुगलवर जेवन की बलिहार जुगलवर जेवन की बलिहार जुगल पुनीति नमः परसो बहु व्यंजन पुनीति नमः परसो बहु व्यंजन षटरस सरस अपार जुगलवर षटरस अप षटरस सरस अपार जुगलवर जीवन की बलिहार जुगलवर जीवन की बलिहार जुगलवर पुनि कर जोरी कहेउ आरोगहु पुनि कर जोरी कहेउ आरोगहु सखिन प्राण साकार जुगलवर सखिन प्राण साकार जुगलवर सखिन प्राण साकार जुगलवर जीवन की बलिहार 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 जुगलवर। यतिन जी।
जी भैया। पिय प्यारी मुख प्यारी पिय मुख पिय प्यारी मुख प्यारी पिय मुख हंसी हंसी ग्रास हंसी हंसी ग्रास ही डारे युगलवर हंसी हंसी ग्रास ही डारे युगलवर जीवन की बलिहार युगलवर जीवन की बलिहार युगलवर सखिन समाज साज संग गावती सखिन समाज साज संग गावती मधुर सुरन जे मधुर सुरन जेवनार युगलवर मधुर सुरन जेवनार युगलवर जेवर की बलिहार युगलवर जेवर की बलिहार युगलवर लखी कृपालु शोभा की झांकी लखी कृपालु शोभा की झांकी को न प्राण देवार युगलवर को न प्राण देवार युगलवर जेवर की बलिहार युगलवर जेवर
जीवन
की
की बलिहार
बलिहार
जुगलवर जीवन की बलिहार जुगलवर जीवन की बलिहार जुगलवर जीवन की बलिहार जुगलवर जीवन की बलिहार जुगलवर। बोलिए श्रीमद सद्गुरु सरकार की जय। श्रीमद युगल सरकार की जय।
जय।
जय जय श्री
श्री
राधे।
राधे
जय जय श्री
श्री
राधे।
राधे
जय जय श्री
श्री
राधे।
राधे।
और कुछ Koti Koti Pranam to the lotus feet of Sri Hari and Sri Guru, or Koti Koti Pranam to Swami Mukundanandji. My humble pranam to each one of you. And now let us read from the Yugal Geet, the chapter 35, Canto 10. Gopis Yugal Geet. Sukhdev ji continues, O Parikshit, hear now as to how the gopis sang in dual verses, Yugal, their anguish and plight during the daytime in separation from Krishna when he would take the cattle for grazing. The gopis would express their agony to each other, highlighting Krishna's leelas, comparing their plight with other creations. Verse 2 and 3, Siddhas. The gopis start when Krishna plays the flute with his delicate fingers and soft lips, dancing his eyebrows with his left cheek bent low to his shoulder, hearing to which in the skies the Siddhas with their spouses are wonder-struck. The Siddha ladies then blush, struck by love, and go into a trance, unmindful and ignorant of their disheveled and unsettled helpless state. Verse 4 and 5, bovine cattle. And here, this most astonishing act, dear Sakhis, when the supremely effulgent Nand Gopal, bearing the Srivats on him, sounds his flute, which not only delights the people but also the bulls, deer, cows too, who go still on hearing his flute and standing with their ears erect, slip into meditation, forgetting and unmindful even to chew the grass still visible in their mouths, waiting to be swallowed. Now we have all heard when Sumant ji, the minister of Dashrath ji, could not convince Bharat, could not convince Sri Ram and Lakshman to return to Ayodhya, even after giving the news that Dashrath ji has departed, please come back. Sumant ji could not convince Ram and Lakshman, and Ram ji explained his plight, his predicament, his commitments to Sumant ji, and Sumant ji had returned. And then I remember the scene was very, very poignant, very melancholic. The horses were standing and shedding tears. Imagine the state of the citizens and the residents who loved Sri Ram. The day which was the date when Lord Ram had to be crowned, had turned into such a sad state. So here the scene is different. Here it is not the melancholic situation. Here it is about the trance which the music of Shri Krishna's flute creates. We get very much charmed by the music of flute when wizards like Hari Prasad Chaurasiya and all play flute. You can imagine how the divine flute would have sounded. So the state of Siddhas and the state of the bovine cattle, the cows, etc. are described here. Let's move on to the next. Verse 6 and 7, reverse. When the two brothers, Krishna and Balram, decked with colorful peacock feathers and bunch of flowers in their curly hair, their bodies painted in vibrant mineral colors, call out to the cows with their names coming from the flute, the rivers pause their flow, and with anticipation eagerly wait for the air to carry the dust from his lotus feet, ever ready to embrace it with their waves. But being unfortunate like us, oh friend, the river continues suffering and trembling as waves keep yearning for the same. And verse 8 and 9, trees. And dear friend, with Krishna calling out melodiously to the cows grazing on the Mount Govardhan, the trees in the forest experience such thrill and bliss listening to the flute. And as if responding to the Lord's call of the flute, the flowers bloom out, and then the trees laden with flowers and fruits seem to be bending low with the weight, and their bodies in complete ecstasy shed streams of sap in the form of love, and if as if offering their all to the Lord in worship. So first it is about the rivers which pause their flow, anticipating for the air to carry the dust from his lotus feet, to embrace it with their waves. And the trees, they also are in such a state of love with the fruits and the flowers blooming out. They bend low. Let us move on to the next. Verse 10 and 11, water birds. Captivated by the music emanating from Krishna's flute. Okay, I let the participants also relish the narration. So over to Yatinji and other participants.
Shall I read, Bhaiya, please?
Ji, please.
Okay. Verse 10 and 11. Water birds, captivated by the music emanating from Krishna's flute, the bees join in with their perfectly singing hum and buzz, seem drunk in the honey-like fragrant aroma of the tulsi leaves, woven into his long flowery garland, emitting an ethereal fragrance. The charming flute song pulls the water cranes, swans, and the other birds, who quietly flock to Krishna's side and silently go into deep meditation. Verse 12 and 13, clouds. O Vraj Devis, when Krishna sounds his flute on the slopes of the mountain, the overhead clouds then mute out their thunder so as not to disturb or disrespect the Lord, and softly roll to match the flute tune. Protecting him from the sun, they then spread out as an umbrella over Krishna as he stands on the summit of Mount Govardhan, playing his flute, showering soft drops of rain and flowers over the Lord. Verse 14 and 15, Devatas. O Yashoda Rani, your sons are experts in all games with their friends. Krishna also expertly plays such original and new melodies on his flute, hearing which even the highest functionary, Jnani, that is, Lord Brahma, Lord Shiv, Indradev, listening in rapt attention, get confused, trying to understand the tunes and the notes of the flute. How beautiful.
Very beautiful. I don't know how we would have reacted. If I was there, I would have sung the song. आज जाने की जिद ना करो, यूं ही पहलू में बैठे रहो, आज जाने की जिद ना करो. But that was just an aside. Let's come back to what the water birds say, that the charming flute song pulls the water cranes, swans, and other birds. They flock to Krishna's side and silently go into deep meditation. And what happens to the clouds? The clouds then mute out their thunder and they don't disturb or disrespect the Lord. And they protect the Lord by spreading out as an umbrella, as the Lord stands on the summit of Govardhan Parvat. And what do the devatas do? So, hearing which, the highest functionaries like Lord Brahma, Shiv, Indra, they get confused trying to understand the tunes and notes of the flute. So, because the Lord is playing the flute so original and with new melodies. let us move on to the next.
Shall I carry on, Bhaiya, or you want to read it?
Yeah, I can read it. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. Radhe Radhe.
Radha. Verse 16 and 17. Soil, earth. The soil of Vraj, which suffers the brunt of the cattle hooves walking all over her, then gets blessed to have the Lord's feet playing the flute, moving on her with the grace and gait of an elephant, easing out her pain, and displays the imprints of lotus, Vajra, Dhwaj, and gold. And we too, beholding him, stand rooted to the spot like trees, mesmerized by his movements, and are no longer conscious of our looks or even garments. Verse 18-19. Deer. While counting the number of cattle on a string of different colored beads, Krishna, resting one arm on his friend, wearing his fragrant favorite Tulsi Mala, starts playing the flute, luring the she deer, who then has her mind captivated and beholden to Krishna. And after meeting him once, the female deers, just like us, abandon all hopes to return back to their home and family. Verse 20 and 21. Devatas and Gandharvas. Playing with his friends and cows on the banks of Yamuna, Krishna, decorated in jasmine flowers, brings delight to everyone. O sinless Yashoda and the Devatas, accompanied with Updevas, Gandharvas, songsters, etc., wait upon him, worship him, singing his glories, making offerings. This all, O Yashoda, further delays his return to Vraj, where we keep waiting for him. Radhe Radhe.
Right. So the last part I understood that the gopis are saying because playing with his friends and cows, Krishna decorated in jasmine flowers uh, brings delight. And O Yashoda ji and the Devtas accompanied wait upon him, worship him, singing his glories and making offerings. So all this delays his return. So the gopis have to wait longer, which is very, very difficult for them. And then there was this mention about the she deer. She gets captivated and she is beholding Shri Krishna. And once he once she meets Shri Krishna, the female deers, just like us, abandon all hopes to return back to their home. They get so enchanted. And the soil and earth was that gopis say, we beholding him stand rooted to their spot like trees, mesmerized by his movements, and are no longer conscious of our looks or even garments. So that is about the soil of Braj, which suffers the brunt of the cattle hooves, walking all over her, then gets blessed to have the Lord's feet. Okay. So that is the sentiments of the soil and the earth and the deer and the devatas and Gandharvas. And now we move on to the next. Yes, please.
Verse 22 and 23. With intent to grant the desire of his near and dear ones, here comes Shri Krishna, a veritable moon, born of Devaki's womb, who is so fond of the people of Vraj as well as of the cows, for whose sake he held up the mountain for a full 7 days, collecting all the cattle wealth at the close of the day. Nay, playing on his flute and bringing delight to the eyes of all, even by the splendor of his fatigued person. His feet being adorned on the way by the oldest of the old, Brahma and others. His glory being sung by his followers and his garland covered all over with dust raised by the hoofs of the cattle. Verse 24-25. O see Sakhis, see Sakhis, our Krishna is now returning resembling like the full moon manifesting at the day end. His eyes seem intoxicated, his face shining brightly, holding the flute to his red pomegranate like lips. his graceful form bent in three sides with a cheerful countenance and smiling face, shining like the bright sun throughout the cold cloud of dust raised by the cattle hooves, bringing delight and honoring his near and dear ones. Returning back in the evening with the cattle, he resembles the leader of the elephant, and beholding him, only then is our day long and endless agony of separation relieved. And we too, being equally docile, serve protection just like the cows, deserve protection just like the cows. Sukhdev ji concludes, O Rajan, the gopis mindfully absorbed in Shri Krishna, rejoiced, rejoiced in remembering him and delightfully spent their day bearing the agony of separation in the form of a song, happy even in the suffering of separation from Krishna. Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe. So, what is the conclusion? O Rajan. So, Sukhdev ji is telling Parikshit Maharaj, the gopi mind, fully absorbed in Sri Krishna, rejoiced in remembering him and delightfully spent their day bearing the agony of separation in the form of a song, happy even in the suffering of separation from Krishna. So we had Brahmar Geet, we had Gopi Geet, and now we have Yugal Geet, and there was one more, the Banshi Geet. So there is so much of song, there is so much of music in Bhagavad Mahapuran. Even all the shlokas have meters and they can be sung so beautifully. So that is the nectar we are all very blessed to undertake. Now let us see what we have in the takeaways. So, okay, we are back with the Ramayana Ramcharitmanas Doha. Let me sing once and then all of you can repeat and read because this is so beautiful. सोई जानई जेहि देहु जनाई जानत तुम ही होए जाई तुम्हारी ही कृपा तुम ही रघुनंदन जानत भगत भगत उर चंदन राम कृपा बिनु सुनो खगराई जानि न जाई राम प्रभुताई मंगल भवन अमंगल हारी द्रबहु सो दशरथ अजिर बिहारी श्री राम जय जय राम श्री राम जय जय राम श्री राम जय जय राम श्री राम जय जय राम. Yes, please go ahead.
जी भैया, let me start. सोई जानई जई देहु जनाई जानत तुम ही हुई जाई तुम्हारी ही कृपा तुम ही रघुनंदन जानत भगत भगत उर चंदन राम कृपा बिनु सुनु खगराई जानी न जाय राम प्रभुताई मंगल भवनि मंगल हारी बहु सुदशरथ अजर बिहारी जय राम जय राम जय जय राम जय राम जय राम जय जय राम जय राम जय राम जय जय राम जय राम जय राम जय जय राम.
No one can know God even if he endeavors to know him for innumerable lifetimes, but when God imparts his grace to a soul, he can know him and attain divine bliss for eternity. So all the three couplets that we sang, they tell the same. Soi janai jehu dehu janai. Only when the Lord makes you know, you will know. And when you know him, you become like him. This is the beauty. Once a person recognizes the Mahapurush, he also gets the same qualities because recognition is so difficult. Then, same thing in the next line, without your grace, Raghunandan, it is not possible. And the same thing in the last one, which is addressed to Garur ji by Kak Bhushandi ji. O Khagarai, so the chief of Khag means Pakshi, the bird, and chief of that is Garur ji. So Kakbashundi is saying, Jani na jai Ram Prabhutai. So the Lord's glories can be understood, can be known only by uh, Rama Prabhutai. Yes, Radhe Radhe. The next one. Please, okay. Binu sat sang vivek na hoi, Ram kripa binu sulabh na soi. अब मोहि भा भरोसा हनुमंता, बिनु हरि कृपा मिलहि नहीं संता. संत विशुद्ध मिलहि पुनि देहि, राम कृपा करि चित वहि जेहि. अब प्रभु कृपा करहु एहि भांति, सब तजि भजन करो दिन राति. श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम. राधे राधे.
जी भैया। बिनु सतसंग विवेक न होई, राम कृपा बिनु सुलभ न सोई. अब मोहि भा भरोस हनुमंता, बिनु हरि कृपा मिलहि नहीं संता. संत विशुद्ध मिलहि पुनि तेहि, राम कृपा करि चित वहि जेहि. श्री राम जय जय राम, श्री राम जय जय राम. It is only through the grace of God that one can be eternally free from all mental afflictions. Even the association of genuine saints is not possible without the grace of God. Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe. Anyone else wants to sing or read?
I would like to, Bhaiya.
Please go ahead.
It is only through the grace of God that one can be eternally free from all mental afflictions. Even the association of genuine saints is not possible without the grace of God. Radhe Radhe. Smita Didi is well versed in Ramayana, and so would she like to sing because she has a beautiful voice and she remembers these.
My God.
Radhe Radhe, Smita.
राधे राधे दीदी, राधे राधे भैया. बिनु सत्संग विवेक न होई, राम कृपा बिनु सुलभ न सोई. अब मोहि भा भरोसा हनुमंता, बिनु हरि कृपा मिलहि नहीं संता. संत विशुद्ध मिलहि पुनि तेहि, राम कृपा करि चितवन जेहि. जय श्री राम जय राम, जय सिया राम जय राम जय राम. राधे राधे.
So those were the takeaways. We have covered many chapters in this 10th canto, but still we are only 1/3 because this is such a long canto. There are 90 chapters and so much are yet to be covered. But we have completed the Bal Leelas of Shri Krishna. Shri Krishna has grown into the adolescence, and then he has taken this youth form, and then the Maharaj episode is also over. In the previous episode, we learned about the Nandaji Maharaj being captured by the serpent Vasuki, and then how he was rescued by the Lord's grace, and also the Shankachura, the story that the serpent transformed into Shankachur, and he narrated the story of his the curse. So these are the chronology that we have covered so far. Now we can open up for any feedback and discussions, if you also wish. Katha.
जी भैया. Great, beautiful session actually. So I mean, sometimes in some chapters there is a lot of knowledge to grasp, and like good knowledge. Like each sentence is like very deep in meaning, and some chapters are like this where you just like listen and do roop dhyan and imagine and enjoy, simply enjoy as we are reading the text. So yeah, this is one of those, and actually, I mean, I can say that everyone would have enjoyed just when everyone was reading the text, how gopis are in agony, how trees are behaving, how clouds are doing, how bees and water birds, deer, everything, even earth, even the dust rising from the cattle hoofs and everything. So I mean, this is so beautiful. Just read and imagine and see, and the imagination is also like that. That when we are observing this happening from a different perspective, and gives more enjoyment to this. So yeah, I mean, totally enjoyed this one, and it gave me great joy. Also, I hope I gave everyone actually a great joy when we were thinking about this. I have one question, or just I don't know. I mean, maybe a question that we have read this a lot of times, like the love of gopis for Krishna and love of Krishna for gopis, vice versa, both. We have read this and multiple times in multiple references. We have had these 5 chapters with Maharaj, which is focused solely on this one. But Krishna also played with gopas, and he used to in daytime he used to go with them with cattle grazing and enjoying and just sleeping around and playing, eating fruits and killing rakshas and everything. So they are also getting time with Krishna, like very personal, close time. So I mean, what type of, is there any like, I'm sure there would be, but is there any like description of what type of attachment or love is there between Gopas and Krishna, and in any chapter or something? So I was just thinking about it. Maybe, yeah. If is there
I
any?
think in the previous chapters, there were many such references that how the Gopas were rescued by Shri Krishna and how they were eating together, how they were resting, as you mentioned, how they would share the eatables which are brought by them, and how there was one incident where those Gopas got captured by Brahmaji, and that was a test Brahmaji took. And Krishna transformed into all those Gopas. So many references, and the names are also there. Uh, the And then in the coming days, we will hear about another Gopa called Sudama. There are a few chapters, I don't know, maybe a couple of chapters dedicated to him. So these Gopas, Madhu Mangal and Stoka Krishna, there are many, many Gopas. The names are very glorious. So I guess we have read about them and we will continue to read about them.
जी भैया जी
Yeah. Sridama, Sudama, see the names I am forgetting. And Madhu
जी जी
Mangal
जी
and all these Gopas have been mentioned.
Yeah, I mean, as you said, Sudama, then yeah, I mean, it becomes clear to me also there.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, maybe it will come in more detail in later on. I mean, my point, yeah, I mean, we have read this in earlier chapters that how all the things, but I don't. I mean, maybe I'm forgetting that. I mean, if there is any uh, proper reference to like how they were feeling just like we do for gopis, like from inside, like how are they, separation,
Yeah.
agni, and all these things.
So the Gopas are, in the Dasya Bhav. They will not show those kinds of sentiments, which will be shown in the Madhurya Bhav. So that also we can see the
Ji.
difference when a friend is missing another friend. They do feel unhappy, and but if it is the case with the opposite genders, then the situation is even more intense and poignant. So the material sentiments are the reflection of the divine sentiments. This is what Maharaji says, that everything is the same, but this is in a modified material form, and the other one is completely pristine and pure.
Ji.
That's the difference.
Ji भैया जी. Thank you. Anyone else like to say few words?
Rajesh ji, the other two Gopas I can think of is Mansukh, Dhansukh, Sudama, Sridama. There are quite a few others Maharaji mentions in a few pads as well, really.
Madhu Mangal.
Madhu Mangal, yes.
Stoka Krishna, yeah.
Now, yeah. In the presentation today, I just couldn't get over the thing about the clouds. Even the clouds were so considerate. They would stop their thunder. They would, if it was a sunny day, they became overcast. They protected him from the heat of the sun. They provided Krishna Bhagwan's shade and the coolness, and just unimaginable, bhaiya, unimaginable, just so beautiful. Maharaji says we were there also at that time, but can we even remember? I wish there was a magic key where we could go back and remember. Radhe Radhe Bhaiya, thank you once again. Beautiful, and the Ramayana Chopais are forever beautiful. Thank you.
राधे राधे भैया. ओह माय गॉड, आज ऐसे हालात पैदा किए आप लोगों ने. भागवतम का जो ये वाला पार्ट था आप लोग पढ़ रहे थे और हम सभी आत्मविभोर होकर सुन रहे थे भैया. बहुत अच्छा लगा सचमुच में. आंखों में भी पानी आया और अंदर हृदय में भी कुछ कुछ हुआ. बहुत ही सुंदर. उन हिरनियों का जो वर्णन है कि वो भगवान जी की बांसुरी को सुनकर इस तरह स्तब्ध हो गई, इस तरह प्रेमातुर हो गई कि वो वहां से आत्मविभोर होकर किंग कर्तव्य विमूढ़ होकर अभी भी खड़ी हैं और कृष्णा की यादों में हैं. और उन्हें ये भी भान नहीं है कि उनके बच्चे घर पे उनके लिए इंतजार कर रहे हैं, उनका पूरा परिवार उनके लिए इंतजार कर रहा है और वो भूल गई है सब कुछ. तो जिन्होंने भी अपने जीवन के किसी भी क्रम में कभी ना कभी प्रेम का अनुभव किया है, उनको पता होगा कि इस बिछुड़न का क्या दुख होता है। तो अगर हम किसी के प्रेम में इतने ज्यादा व्याकुल हो जाते हैं और वो हमारे पास से कुछ ही दिनों के लिए दूर चला जाता है, तो उस समय जो हालत होती है, उस हालत की हम तुलना भी नहीं कर सकते। यहाँ तो भगवान जो कि पूरी दुनिया के रचयिता हैं, उनके प्रेम में पागल लोग हैं और भगवान जी उनसे बिछुड़ जाते हैं, छूट जाते हैं, तो उनकी तो पूरी हालत ही खराब हो जाती होगी। मैं अनुभव करने की कोशिश कर रही हूँ और सचमुच में आज के इस इस चिंता भरे माहौल में, इस दुनिया में जो सारे सुखों से है भरा हुआ, लेकिन दुख की भी यहाँ उतनी ही बड़ी भरमार है। जो आपने उदाहरण दिए कि आज क्या चल रहा है सब जगह पे, बोलने की जरूरत नहीं है, उसमें ये एक औषधि का काम करता है। कुछ ही पलों के लिए ही सही, हम सब बिल्कुल सच्चे हो जाते हैं और हमारे ऊपर एक मरहम का काम करता है भागवतम। राधे राधे भैया, बहुत सुंदर
राधे।
सेशन।
एज यूजुअल आपने इतने सुंदर हिंदी के शब्दों का प्रयोग किया, शायद एक शब्द आपने नहीं कहा, वो मंत्र मुग्ध हो गए हम लोग। तो मंत्र मुग्ध एक शब्द मुझे जहन में आया। तो यही है कमाल गोपी प्रेम का, जिसका दूसरा नाम है स्व सुख वासना गंध लेश शून्य। बड़ा ही सुंदर महाराज जी का ये कथन है, स्व सुख वासना गंध लेश शून्य, तैल धारावत विच्छिन्न, श्री कृष्ण सुखैक तात्पर्यमयी भक्ति। I am sure Smita ji would have understood and others also would have understood, especially शीला जी। स्व सुख वासना गंध लेश शून्य, अपने सुख की कोई वासना नहीं हो, उसका गंध लेश मात्र भी न हो। स्व सुख वासना गंध लेश शून्य, तैल धारावत विच्छिन्न, जैसे तेल की धारा गिरती है उसमें कोई रुकावट नहीं होती है, कोई ब्रेक नहीं होता है। तैल धारावत विच्छिन्न, श्री कृष्ण सुखैक तात्पर्यमयी भक्ति। ये भक्ति किसके सुख के लिए हो रही है? श्री कृष्ण के सुख के लिए। इसको महाराज जी ने इस फ्रेज में बतलाया है। राधे राधे। हेमा जी।
Radhe Radhe Bhaiya. Another beautiful session describing the clouds, Shri Krishna's position when he's playing the flute, the birds, the bees, the flowers. I was in the forest today. It's, when we're out in the morning walks, evening walks, watching the sunrise or sunset, what are we looking at? What are we seeing with our eyes? What are we seeing with our senses? I never used to be a nature person until I came onto the JKYOG platform. But, it's the appreciation and it's seeing and feeling that God pervades every living entity. It puts the light on there for me. And we have the Brahma Geet, the Gopi Geet, the Yugal Geet. Which was the fourth one?
Venu Geet,
Venu.
the flute.
Okay. Venu Geet. Thank you very much for another beautiful session.
Wonderful sentiments from Hema ji. So I presume you have come to know about Sri Maharaj ji only few years back.
I came to know Sri Maharaj-ji in September 2012, and at that time my Hindi wasn't very good, so I was using the JKYOG platform, YouTube channels to start understanding, but at the same time I was also listening to Sri Maharaj's lectures and videos, and then slowly you build up, you try to retain. We go up and down, but it's the knowledge, it's gaining the knowledge, feeling, experiencing. It all somehow just comes together, but it's maintenance, keeping maintained, keeping alert, keeping that awareness, and just growing and developing. And doing your sadhana, doing the seva. It's a lot of things there. A lot of things I've learned through Maharaj's lectures, through Swami Mukundananji's lectures, and various other pracharaks as well. It's just all helped with progressing, developing, and it's like I'm not so much disturbed as I was 5 years ago at work. Not at all. It's like somebody could shout at me until they're blue and black in the face, and I would just respond in the opposite way. It's, but that's the beauty of it. That's the beauty. Whenever there is a downside in life, whether it is at work or whether it is at home, there's always good that's going to come out of it, but we don't see it at that time. We see it later on, and then we realize, aha, yes. Radhe Radhe, thank you.
So wonderful. If nothing else, boliye Shrimad Sadguru
Sadguru Sarkar ki jai.
की जय
Shrimad Yugal Sarkar ki
की
Jai.
जय
Jai Jai Shri
श्री राधे
Jai Jai Shri
श्री राधे
Jai Jai
श्री राधे
Radhe Radhe.
Radhe
राधे
Radhe.
राधे एवरीवन
राधे राधे
Radhe Radhe.